Hi, I will discuss the steps needed to SSH to a remote server without the need of a password in a Linux environment. As a system admin, you have the ability to generate or create public private keys and use these keys as authentication method instead of a password method. In Linux servers, we are using two pair, public and private. Private we are going to keep on our local server, and we share the public key to the whatever remote server you want to log in without a password. The command being used are two main commands, which is ssh-keygen, and the other command is ssh-copy-id. It's important to know which local and which remote user ID will use the share public key, because this public key is uniquely generated for each user on your machine. Make sure do not think when you switch user you are able to SSH without a password. This will not happen. You need to generate a key pair for each user you wish to SSH without a password. This is our local machine, and this is our remote machine. All we need to do is to write the two commands ssh-keygen, and here you have the default location for the keys, which is in the home and in the hidden folder .ssh. This is an optional if you want to enter a passphrase, which is more complex and more secure than a password. It's just an optional. If you don't want to, just press enter, another enter. Now let's check the folder, which is the hidden folder for SSH, in which the two keys were saved, the private and the public pair. So we go to our home, user 1, then we go to the hidden folder, which is .ssh, then we list the files. As you see here, we have id_rsa. This is the file in which is the private key, and we have our public key, which is id_rsa.public. All we need to do is to share the public to the remote server in which we want to log in remotely without password. So the other command in which we are going to use, which is ssh-copy-id space -i, then ssh, that this is the location of our public key, id rsa.public key, then space the username of the username or the user ID of our remote server, user2 at. You can use the server name if it's defined, or just simply using the IP address of that remote server, 192.168.1.5. Then we just press enter. This, for the first time, it will ask us for a password for that remote server. As we see here, there's one key which is added there. Now let's try to SSH to our remote server from the other side here, from our local machine user1, and see if it will ask us for a password. User2, here we are successfully logged in without the need of a password to our remote server. As you can see here, this is user2 and we were in user1 machine. Now we are on the remote machine. Any command here will affect the remote machine and not our local machine anymore. So make sure once you're done your SSH session, you log out and we are back to our user1. I also want to touch on the modification needed on our SSH configuration file to make our server more secure. We basically have to be in the root user account. Then we go to the file, the SSH configuration file, using text, any text editor that you have. The location is this. So this is the content of our SSH configuration file. All we can do is uncommand this to make it effective, then switch yes to no. We are basically saying do not allow root to log in remotely. No one can access root's user. This is a way for us to make it more secure. Also, we can stop the password authentication method by saying no. Then all we need to do is to save and then restart SSH service. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this lesson.